Welcome back to today's episode of the Key and Mang Audio Experience. I'm your host, Mang. As always, joined by my fellow co-host, Key. Key, what's good?
What's up, Ming? How are you?
I am great. How are you?
I'm lovely. I got my iced coffee. Well, it was hot coffee, but now it's cold, so now it's iced coffee.
Always from Starbucks?
No, it's just homemade.
Oh, homemade.
I just have a
Are
Starbucks cup.
you trying to level up? What kind of stuff you put in your iced coffee?
I used to not play. Um, I put this brown sugar creamer. Yeah, brown sugar creamer, or I'll put almond milk or oat milk. It depends how I feel. But I've been doing the brown sugar creamer. You drink coffee?
I don't drink coffee.
Oh,
Never
why
have.
you asking
You
me?
know, I'm weird. Like I can like eat like coffee beans or something or like coffee ice cream, but drinking it, nah.
No way.
I
That is
can't I can't do it.
that's very weird.
It is weird, but look, more power to you. I'm a tea kind of guy, but besides the point. Besides the point. All right, so we're coming on the day we're recording this, it's coming to the end of January, coming into February. And a lot of people made New Year's resolutions for what they want to do in 2023. Got some big goals, whether it's financial, whether it's personal, whether it's whatever, maybe health. But coming into the month and we just wanted to check in, one, see how goals are going with being set, and two, a lot of the time, when you get to like that first month, like a lot of people, 38% of adults set New Year's resolutions, and by the time that first week is done, 23% of people have already quit that by the end of that first week. And then if you go fast forward to the end of the year, 9% have successfully kept their New Year's resolution. So this first month is really important when it comes to trying to maintain your goals and achieve them. So we just wanted to kind of help people that are falling off with their goals get back on track to make sure that they can achieve their goals at the end of the year. So Key, your first tip to helping people not fall off on their goals and New Year's resolutions.
My first tip would be, instead of trying to go from 0 to 100, try to break it up into smaller increments. So, for example, I'm in the health and fitness space, so a lot of people want to like do like a powerlifting meet, or they want to do like a marathon, but never lifted in their life or never ran a mile, and they haven't like been consistent with the activity that they want to do. So, with that being said, because it's still early in the year, you want to like gradually expose yourself to the type of goal that you're looking to achieve. You don't want to just go all out and then run out of gas at the end or in the middle of the year. So try to break your goals up into less extreme things. I know everybody is like, oh, get goals so big that scare you. I think that's pretty silly if you're first starting out and trying to achieve something big. So instead of going from 0 to 100, like do 0 to 10 and then 10 to 20, 20 to 30, like that, so that you build the consistency and are able to sustain that like rate of progress through the whole year, as opposed to like trying to go all out and, like I said, running out of gas mid-year and ended up like everybody else failing at their resolutions at the end of the year.
Yeah, I also think to add to that, like if you have this big goal and then you can reverse engineer what you need to do to get there, then you can make those reverse engineering, whatever you deemed as the steps to get there as your milestones to hit to achieve your goal. So instead of looking at that big picture, you're breaking down, you're climbing up each of the small steps you need to get to that end goal, which I also think will help you sit down and think about what you're really like, why it's your goal and what you really are trying to accomplish. And then you can work backwards with making sure that you're not skipping any steps to get to that end goal.
Yeah, and I think when you do that, that kind of leads into like the my second thought was like breaking it up into smaller goals. I think when you reverse engineer it, you break it up into goals that are, or steps that are more achievable, and that makes it feel less overwhelming. It makes you feel like you can actually achieve it, because some of these goals that people have are definitely achievable. It's just it's a big like task to take on, especially if um especially if you're not already in like rhythm and momentum, it's like hard to go from like not doing anything to trying to do everything you set out to do. So having those smaller goals allows you to like hit the milestones along the way and actually allow you to reflect and like celebrate your wins and see what you need to fine tune and what you need to tweak to keep going forward.
Yeah, like I had a financial goal I was trying to hit by May. And I had this, it wasn't a New Year's resolution, but it was like maybe like August, September where I came up with the number. And for the first couple of months, I was not like my balance was staying the same. I was like, why is nothing changing? And then I hopped on the call with Chris and he was like, all right, what is the goal you're trying to hit? And he was like, you need to have a plan for how you're trying to get to this number. Certain amount you're going to save each paycheck or each month and put into this account to make sure you get there. And now, since that, it was simple stuff like then the income has stayed the same, but now that number keeps going up because there's a plan in place to get there now. About probably like 2/3 of the way through, I think I'm early on when I'm about to hit that number, and I was like, all because figured out what the end goal was, had a plan in place, and now following it, and now it's like now it's going up to where I'm trying to have it be. Yeah, and I was like, if I didn't have the plan, if I didn't have someone help me go through it, then I'd probably still be at that same or close to the same output and not have this plan, not be closer to any closer to that goal.
Yeah, I like that. That reminds me that like if you want to like hit a goal and you're not sure on how to like plan it out and what your action steps should be, don't do it yourself. Be open to getting help from people. Like there's people that give like free consultations to help you get on track and let you do the work going forward. But just having that plan set in stone and having somebody that is an expert in that like field you're trying to achieve a goal in can really make a huge difference in your progress. A lot of people don't make progress on their goals because they don't ask for help or they don't um have a actual plan on how to do it. So just seeking out the person that can help you, getting advice, and putting that into action can make a big difference.
Hmm. Good coaching, good mentorship gets you speed, so you can get to where you're trying to get to faster. If you get to where you're
Exactly.
trying to get to faster, then you can set new, more ambitious goals by already having that foundation baseline set. So, good point. What's your last one?
Also, my last one was I don't know if this is my last one, but this is what I just thought. I think a lot of people do things that aren't something they can keep up with for a long time. Um, with that being said, for example, say that you I'm gonna use fitness. This is what I always this is my stuff. So say that you want to like lose a certain amount of weight. And most people like think to do like the most extreme diet ever or something like that. So instead of doing something that's very extreme that you know you won't be able to do long term, like you have to find things that you're able to actually feel good about and do that for a long period of time because you can achieve like one of your smaller goals in a quick amount of time. But if you don't have the knowledge and the habits to continue doing that, you're just gonna revert back to where you were prior to achieving that goal. So you really have to take time and like learn what you need to learn how you can sustain it and develop habits and momentum around that. So it's not something that's just a quick fix because that's why you see so many people like making a lot of progress quickly but falling off because they never took the time to really learn what they needed to learn and build the habits that they need to sustain whatever it is they're trying to achieve.
Yeah, you gotta like meet yourself where you're at. Like I tell people all the time, like part of my job is to meet the person where they're at, and you gotta do the same thing with yourself with where you're when you're setting your goals and trying to work towards something. Like if you know you're gonna need to commit 4 times a week to something, and whether it's lifting or whatever, to get to that power meet or powerlifting meet eventually, you gotta be able to start with one. You gotta get there at least once a week. Could be consistent on that before going up to two, then going up to three, and then going up to four. But by the time you get to that four, you would have put in so many deposits into your little piggy bank of, oh, I showed up once a week for the last 10 weeks, and then twice a week for the last 10 weeks, and then 3 times a week for the last 10 weeks. That's 30 weeks of showing up for yourself every single day. Then your confidence builds, you're seeing improvements in your lifts. Like everything was starting to pile up because you made those consistent deposits every time you said you was gonna lift. So yeah, I think that's super important.
Yeah, and then as you're making those deposits, like you said, your confidence goes up, but also the more deposits you make, the more you have in the bank for the time where you're not like feeling like you're able to continue. But if you were to just go all out and like put a big chunk of money into your deposit, I guess, of like put a big deposit into your bank, you're going to, and not do that consistently, you're going to feel like when things get hard that you don't have like enough of a buffer. So I would say that those small deposits consistently allow you to go through like the ups and downs and not feel bad about being off your game. Because the year is long, things are going to change, seasons are going to change, and things may come up. So having that buffer is important, and being consistent allows you to do that.
1000%. What other tips do you have? You have any more?
Get out of the microwave mindset.
Explain.
People just want things too quick. Like shit doesn't happen quick like that. I think the only things that are really quick now is like Amazon Prime, um, obviously putting stuff in the microwave. Like things really don't happen that quickly, and I think people forget that because of social media. So if you need to get off of social media to stop like comparing your results and where you're at to other people, then do that, because I feel like if you're getting caught up in that and feeling like you're moving too slow, you're gonna end up quitting. You're gonna end up failing because you have this like false perception of what progress really is. So I think social media could be good or bad for people around this time. So if you feel like you are comparing yourself too much and like trying to rush your process, delete all your social media for a little bit of time and just focus on yourself, because like life isn't really like a microwave or anything. Things take time to happen, and we need to give ourselves that time.
I haven't heard of that as the microwave. What'd you call it?
Microwave mindset. Like you put something in the microwave, it's
Micro.
done in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, yeah, I
If
like
you
that.
if you put it
I
in the
like that. I haven't
oven,
heard
take a little longer.
it. You gotta play the long game. I like that. I like that a lot. Um,
I think we talked about it before. Like some people, you have people on social media where they only show like the good and they only show like their end spot, but don't show everything that has gotten them up to that point. And I
mhm.
think if you see a lot of that stuff on a daily basis, that starts to play into like how you feel about yourself. So if that's something that's affecting you, like you need to like stop consuming stuff like that, because that's not reality.
And then there's also something that you got to be able to recognize if you're being affected by what you're seeing on social. Like, can you first recognize that it's having an effect on you, whether it is positive or negative? And then can you take that next step of if it is negative, can you delete the whatever it is that you're seeing for a little bit, or can you hide it, or whatever you got to do to make sure that you can just focus on you because you're your most important asset. If you don't focus on you and you focus on what everybody else is doing, you're not going to be able to be up to your full potential because you worried about what everybody else doing, how everybody else sees you, but you got to worry about how you see you first. And that's the biggest thing.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's all the tips I had on this. It's pretty simple. Like all the things that like you hear on podcasts or like the motivational stuff, it's so cliche, but it's true. Like the basics and the boring stuff works. Like this may sound very basic, but if you do these things, you'll be able to be a part of that 9% that does stick to their resolution and does see like a big change in their life come 2024. So don't overlook the cliches you hear, like really hone in on the basics and just stick to that and play the long game.
Yeah, and just to add to your two, I got a quick two. Keep track of your small wins, which you kind of talked about earlier, and write down what you're gonna get done and what you have got done. So then you can look back on it and be like, yeah, over this last month, I completed my lift 20 days out of 28 days. I said I was gonna go 4 times a week, but I only hit 20. Then you can use it as a self-audit tool. What did I miss this time? Why did I miss? Where did I miss? How can I increase from 20 to maybe 22? You're not trying to go from 20 to 28, but small stuff like let me see where is there a place within this next month where I can potentially not make up, but add 2 more to my total here to get to where I'm trying to get to that 28. You ain't trying to make this one big jump in 1 month. Trying to play the long game. So just keep track of your progress, and then you can look back on it in a year and be like, yeah, I really showed up for myself. I did what I said I was gonna do. And that's gonna help your whatever your goal is, but just your overall confidence in yourself. Because when you set your mind to do something, you get it done. So, and I think that's like one of the ultimate forms of self-confidence. There's like knowing that you can deliver on what you said you was going to deliver. So that's all I would add.
Bouncing off that, actually, remember we did the episode of Year in Review?
Yes.
Yeah, so when I did that, when I was like going through, like prepping for the episode and writing down everything, I was like, damn, I actually did a lot this year. But going through the year, you really don't feel like that unless you do write it down. So I'm gonna take your
Hmm.
advice and like write it down because it could feel like you're just doing a lot and not making any progress or not getting any wins. But if you writing down, you can go back and um, look at it and be like, damn, I actually am like making progress. So it could be a good way to keep you motivated and not keep
Hmm.
you and like prevent you from getting discouraged. I
Hmm.
like that one.
And I'm not trying to act like I do this 100% of the time. I need to get better at this too. I have, I think just taking more time out of the day, whether it's at the beginning of the day or at the end to write down and look at what has happened. I'm not perfect at this. I usually keep things in my head and then just execute on them, but I can save a lot of like brain space by just writing it down somewhere and not having to have that occupied. So that's what I'm working on this next couple weeks here, just fine tuning that and making that more consistent.
Yeah. I think a lot of this stuff on the podcast, like when I say things, I'm like, I think I'm talking to myself.
Mhm. Yeah.
I think that's common, but it's no, it's good to reflect so that you know like what you need to either implement or like kind of tweak. So it's good to hear it from like being a listener, but also it's good to hear it from like you or myself, like me
Hmm.
listening to this.
Hmm.
That's all I got.
That's all I got too. We'll catch y'all on the next episode. Like, comment, subscribe, how your 2023 New Year's resolutions are going, and let us know like what you find helpful for helping you stay on track as well. We'd love to hear and that may add to our thoughts as well. So until then, we'll catch you on the next episode. Peace.